everybody, and welcome to CT Racer X channel. Today I'm going to be doing a repair on a 2012 Chevy Cruze. It's the 1.4 liter turbo, and we're going to be replacing the valve cover. Follow along with me, you're really going to enjoy this one. Okay, before we get started, the first thing we need to do is open up the hood. So you're going to reach underneath here, grab this little guy right here, pop the hood. So today we're going to be changing out the valve cover on this particular car. These 1.4 liters have issues with the internal PCV valve. And the internal PCV valve, once it goes bad, then the car starts acting funny. And it is a known issue with these cars. I've heard of cars actually having 3 or 4 of these valve covers in the span of 60,000 miles. So at any rate, this just happens to be a fluke because this is the first valve cover and it's never had an issue prior to this. So anyhow, we're going to be changing this out with a new valve cover, which has, again, an internal PCV valve. Take a look here. That's the internal PCV valve. I don't know why Chevy decided to do that, but they've been doing that for years with the Cobalts and what have you. This particular model has a lot more issues than normal. Each one of these valve covers are secured with a set of star or E8 Torx heads. So first things first is you're going to want to go ahead and loosen up all of these. If the motor is warm, do try to use a hand tool like a socket wrench. Try to not use electrical tools like impact wrenches or air tools. You will probably mess up the heads on these if you do put too much torque on them. All right, once you've loosened up all these E8 Torx studs, okay, there's a bunch of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all the ones around the edge, around the periphery, I should say. Once you've loosened these all up, now it's time to take off your oil cap. Okay, you're gonna take off your coil pack. First, what you're gonna do is go ahead and push in the orange dowel on the side here and push it and pull it out. That'll get that released from the coil pack there. And then the wire guide on the side of the valve cover, you'll pull that off as well. Now, in order to pull the wire guide off, it's held on by 6 clips. Be careful, it can be brittle, they can break, so lightly pry them up and pull the wires out. And then on this edge right here, there is an alligator clip that is designed to hold the wire in. You're going to use a flathead screwdriver to lift the alligator clip up and pull the wire out of that as well. Okay, now it's time to take off the coil pack. Use a T27 torque, okay, and put that inside these 2 torque heads right here. Turn them counterclockwise, that'll release it. Try to use a hand tool. Don't use electric tools because you may strip the insides of these little bolts right here, and I don't know if you can find these without going to GM. So anyhow, put that in there, turn them lightly, they'll pop loose, and then you've got the coil pack out. All right, now that you got your rocker cover off of the car, or the valve cover off of the car, make sure you inspect your cams, make sure you don't have any scoring or anything broken in there. Usually won't have anything broken in there unless you've been driving it like a moron. If not, and everything looks great, now it's time to put your new rocker cover or valve cover back on the car. Before you do that though, make sure you clean up the surface, the mating surface where the valve cover is going to sit, because if there's any oil on there, that could prevent the valve cover from actually sealing and you could have an oil leak. I've got the new rocker cover on. Using the correct torque pattern, ensure that you lock down each one of these E8 hex studs, okay? Once they're all locked down to the proper torque, which I would believe there shouldn't be more than about 10 or 15 foot-pounds, then you can lock up your coil pack, okay? Again, those shouldn't be more than about 10 to 15 foot-pounds. And then once everything's all locked up, then you can go ahead and start your car and make sure that you don't have any leaks around the periphery, okay? Okay, with the engine running, make sure that you don't have any leaks around the periphery or around the inside. Start with the inside here, make sure you don't see any oil pooling. Look around the back side, because here you're not going to see it leaking, you'll just smell it. But if it's fresh, you may be able to catch a drip or two if it's leaking. Check around the edge, and also check around the front. Now you'll definitely smell it if it's leaking here, because it'll leak on the exhaust manifold and it'll burn. Okay, so far so good, no leaks, everything looks great. And so far the car's idling like a champ, so that means that it's probably fixed. All right, so the next step is you're gonna go ahead and take your code reader, like so. You're gonna plug your code reader into the bottom section here. And right there, all right. Make sure you turn your key to ACC, so not all the way on. In this particular case, we're going to go ahead and clear the code that's on the dashboard, okay? Wait for it. Wait for it.
2 hours later.
Okay, fire it up. And the code, she is gone. All right, the car is idling great. There's no check engine lights, so everything looks perfect. It's not bucking and jumping. I'm happy, the customer's happy, so I'd say it's a job well done. Okay, we just got through watching a video on how to replace the valve cover on a 2012 Chevy 1.4 liter turbo. This is for not only the Cruze, but also the Spark, and it may be some other vehicles that I haven't mentioned, but the process is still the same.
Like and subscribe!
You heard him, folks. Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Got nice legs.
Yeah. Make sure your legs look good because people are gonna see this, and I don't want them to think like,
Ooh,
who's he
ashy
filming?
legs.
Ashy legs and things under her
wait,
fingernails.
not
Holy
nope.
cow!
Okay.
All right, America, that's a blooper.